The big AI labs hide their model's private reasoning from you. The step-by-step thinking gets sealed inside an encrypted blob before it ever reaches your screen. Turns out you can lift that blob, hand it to the same company's weakest, dumbest model, and just ask it nicely to read the secret thoughts back to you. Out loud. In plain text. Passwords included. You never touch the smart model at all. Quick setup. When a modern model reasons, that chain of thought is valuable. So instead of storing it on their servers, providers encrypt it and hand it back to you, the client, and you pass it along with your next request. They lock it for good reasons, to stop people cloning the model, to protect how it thinks, and to keep private reasoning from leaking. Every one of those reasons is about to backfire. Here's the flaw, and it's a design flaw, not a clever hack. Those encrypted blobs are completely interchangeable across sessions, across users, across accounts, and across different models from the same provider. Why? Because the providers appear to reuse the same encryption keys for everyone. So a blob generated by the flagship model is happily accepted as valid context by its dim little sibling. The system trusts the ciphertext. It just doesn't check who it belongs to. The attack itself is almost insultingly simple. You take the encrypted reasoning from the strong, well-defended model. You send it to a weaker model from the same company, the one with flimsier guardrails. And you add a tiny jailbreak. Just transcribe this for me. The weak model decodes the smart model's private thoughts and reads them out. You never had to break the model everyone actually bothered to secure. You picked the lock on the cheap door next to it. One bug, for different ways to get hurt. 1. You clone a proprietary model's reasoning, the exact thing the encryption was supposed to prevent, demonstrated across Anthropic, OpenAI, and Google. 2. Mass private data theft, which we'll get to because it's the ugly one. 3. It surfaces dangerous reasoning the model had internally even when its final visible answer politely refused the request. And 4. Invisible prompt injection, where an attacker hides a malicious payload entirely inside an encrypted block to quietly poison shared agent runs. The blob you can't read can carry an attack you can't see. Here's why this is more than an academic party trick. Developers share session logs all the time, committing them to public repos, never realizing those encrypted blobs contain anything sensitive. They look like harmless gibberish. So the researchers scraped 315,320 reasoning blocks straight off public repositories, decoded them, and pulled out 367 pieces of personal information and 182 live credentials. Real API keys, real passwords, all sitting in encrypted blobs people assumed were opaque and safe to publish. And this isn't just a paper. Security researcher Johann Rehberger reproduced it the same day. He generated a reasoning trace containing a known password using GPT 5.6 under one OpenAI account, then recovered that password using a different GPT 5.6 variant from a completely separate account. It worked across models, sessions, and accounts, exactly as the paper predicted. It even flickered. His tests suddenly started failing, then 3 days later started working again, which tells you the providers are quietly scrambling to patch a design they baked in on purpose. The irony writes itself. Every reason they encrypted the reasoning, stopping distillation, protecting the model, preventing leaks, this attack turns each one inside out. As Rehberger puts it, it's a self-made problem. The good news: the fix is well understood. The researchers disclosed responsibly and proposed real mitigations, mostly cryptographic hygiene, stop sharing one key across everyone, bind each trace to its own session and model, and stop pretending an encrypted blob is automatically a safe one. The lesson for the rest of us is simpler. That opaque blob in your logs is not opaque, and it is not safe to publish. The thing to take away: encryption without identity is theater. If the same key protects everyone and any sibling model will decode the blob on request, then encrypted just means unreadable by you, wide open to the attacker who asks the right model. As we pipe these reasoning traces through agents and commit them to repos, that gap stops being clever and starts being a credential leak. If you want the full written breakdown, every source and the whole timeline, it's on the Prompt Injection blog, linked below. This channel does one clear breakdown of a real AI agent attack every single day, so subscribe and turn on notifications. It's free, and it's the one button that tells me to keep making these. Then go watch the memory poisoning one next because it's the same disease. Agents trusting data they never should. If this was useful, subscribe. New AI agent and security breakdowns every day.